The new year finds its seat without asking where to sit. It looks around like it's counting what's already here. I've watched New Year's stand too tall, trying to impress the room. But this one sits down. I've learned that arrival doesn't need hype. The new year finds its seat tonight, soft and slow. It doesn't need to let us know if taking space is living. The new year finds its seat. May the days not crowd you. May your heart always have a place. I've mistaken presents for pressure. I've mistaken attention for care, but sitting holds. The new year finds its seat tonight, warm and plain, no need to explain. If being here is fine, the new year finds its seat. Let the months arrange themselves around your breath. I feared being seen too clearly, afraid it would ask too much, but this feels easy. The new year finds its seat tonight, soft and low. It doesn't push us where to go. If resting inside time is living, the new year finds its seat. I don't need the year to stand out, I don't need it to shine, I need it to stay. I've given too much to years that never noticed me, so let this one sit close enough to listen. I've learned that belonging doesn't move. May the year stay seated with you. The new year finds its seat tonight, soft and warm. It doesn't need to transform. If time can settle in beside us, the new year finds its seat. No rise, no sign, just the year taking time. The new year finds its seat. The night keeps its coat on, doesn't plan to leave yet. The door stays open, but nothing moves. Streetlights hum like they're tired of pretending they know the hour. I've rushed nights out before they were done, afraid I'd miss the meaning, but this one lingers. I've learned that time doesn't like goodbyes.
The night keeps its coat on tonight, soft and slow. It doesn't need to let us know if staying halfway is living. The night keeps its coat on.
May your moments not feel finished,
just resting. I've mistaken leaving for courage.
I've mistaken closure for peace, but staying warm. The night keeps its coat on tonight, warm and plain, no need to explain. If remaining quiet is fine, the night keeps its coat on. Let the year hover
between arriving and being.
I've feared long nights too long, afraid they meant I was behind.
But this feels held.
The night keeps its coat on tonight,
soft and low.
It doesn't push us where to go.
If lingering gently is living, the night keeps its coat on.
The night keeps its coat on.
I don't need the night to decide. I don't need it to release me. I need it to stay human.
I've left rooms early, calling it instinct,
calling it sense.
So let this night keep its coat and remain. I've learned that comfort doesn't rush. May the night know you
and pause.
Keeps its coat on tonight, soft and warm. It doesn't need to perform. If half staying still stays, the night keeps its coat on. No exit,
no sign,
just night holding time. Its coat on. The year doesn't ask us to change, it just sits down like it's known us long enough to stop expecting. I've been corrected by calendars, by promises, by plans, but this year listens. I've learned that time can accept. The year doesn't ask us to change tonight, soft and slow. It doesn't need to let us know if staying human is living. The year doesn't ask. The room keeps our habits without comment. I've mistaken improvement for worth. I've mistaken fixing for love. But allowance holds. The year doesn't ask us to change tonight. Warm and plain, no need to explain. If remaining imperfect is fine, the year doesn't ask. Time stops pointing forward and stays. I've feared years that didn't push me, as if they'd leave me behind. But this feels gentle. The year doesn't ask us to change tonight, soft and low. It doesn't tell us where to go, if being enough already is living. The year doesn't ask. I don't need the year to fix me. I don't need it to improve. I need it to remain. I've sharpened myself for futures that never arrive. Calling it discipline, calling it hope. So let this year take me as is. I've learned that staying counts. May the year sit beside you, unjudging. The year doesn't ask us to change tonight, soft and warm. It doesn't need to transform if staying whole still lasts. The year doesn't ask, no demand, no plea, just time and me. The year doesn't ask. The year doesn't ask who we were, it only sees who's here. No resume, no explanation, just a chair pulled close. I've entered years carrying stories like evidence, like defense. But this one doesn't inquire. I've learned that time can accept. The year doesn't ask who we were tonight. Soft and slow, it doesn't need to let us know if being present is living. The year doesn't ask. May your past sit quietly without speaking. I've mistaken explanation for peace. I've mistaken clarity for rest. But allowance holds. The year doesn't ask who we were tonight. Warm and plain, no need to explain. If arriving empty-handed is fine, the year doesn't ask. The clock looks at us and nods. I've feared being seen without context, as if I disappear, but this feels grounded. The year doesn't ask who we were tonight. Soft and low, it doesn't push us where to go. If standing simply is living, the year doesn't ask. I don't need the year to summarize me. I don't need it to recall. I need it to allow. I've spoken for myself too many times, calling it honesty, calling it strength. So let this year meet me wordless. I've learned that silence belongs. May the year hold you as is. The year doesn't ask who we were tonight. Soft and warm, it doesn't need to perform. If being enough still lasts, the year doesn't ask. No past, no proof, just now and truth. The year doesn't ask. The year doesn't knock anymore. It's already inside. Its shoes by the door, its breath in the room with ours. I've waited for years to announce themselves, to prove they arrived. But this one just stays. I've learned that time can belong. The year doesn't knock anymore tonight. Soft and slow, it doesn't need to let us know if already being here is living. The year doesn't knock. May your days feel inhabited, not visited. I've mistaken arrival for change. I've mistaken beginnings for noise, but presence holds. The year doesn't knock anymore tonight. Warm and plain, no need to explain. If nothing announces itself, it's fine. The year doesn't knock. The year doesn't knock. clock stops introducing itself and listens. I feared missing the moment, as if time needed witnesses. But this feels certain. The year doesn't knock anymore tonight. Soft and low, it doesn't push us where to go. If already being here is living, and I don't need the year to begin loudly. I don't need it to arrive, I need it to remain. I've stood at doors waiting for signs, calling it patience, calling it hope. So let this year already be here with me. I've learned that staying counts. May the year stay seated with you. The year doesn't knock anymore tonight. Soft and warm, it doesn't need to perform. If being present still lasts, the year doesn't knock. No door, no sound, just time around. The year doesn't knock. The year doesn't knock. The year knocks softly before entering, like it's afraid to interrupt. The night holds still to hear it. No fireworks, no hurry. I've opened years with shaking hands, expecting storms, expecting change. But this one waits. I've learned that time can be polite. The year knocks softly before entering tonight. Slow and low, it doesn't need to let us know. If asking gently is living, the year knocks softly. May your days answer calmly, without defense. I've mistaken force for strength, I've mistaken loud for real, but quiet stays. The year knocks softly before entering tonight. Warm and plain, no need to explain. If opening slowly is fine, the year knocks softly. The door remembers every year and forgives. I've feared new time, too often afraid it would demand a better version of me, but this feels accepting. The year knocks softly before entering tonight. Soft and low, it doesn't push us where to go. If being unchanged is living, I don't need the year to improve me. I don't need it to correct, I need it to arrive. I've stood before doors trying to rehearse myself, calling it readiness, calling it hope. So let this year meet me unprepared. I've learned that welcome is enough. May the year step lightly around your heart. The year knocks softly before entering tonight. Soft and warm, it doesn't need to transform. If being received still lasts, the year knocks softly. No rush, no claim, just time and time. The year knocks softly. The year learns our name slowly, like someone shy at a small table. It doesn't say them out loud yet, just rolls them around in its mouth. I've shouted at years before they knew me, demanded answers, demanded proof, but this one listens. I've learned that time needs introduction. The year learns our name slowly tonight, soft and low. It doesn't need to let us know. If knowing us gently is living, the year learns our name slowly. May your days recognize you without asking too much. I've mistaken recognition for approval. I've mistaken attention for care, but patience knows. The year learns our name slowly tonight, warm and plain. No need to explain if being seen later is fine. The year learns our name slowly. The year learns our name slowly. Let the months say your voice at a distance. I've feared being unknown to time, afraid I'd disappear, but this feels human. The year learns our name slowly. I don't need the year to remember everything. I don't need it to keep score, I need it to notice. I've tried to leave marks on time, calling it legacy. calling it hope. So let this year learn me gradually. I've learned that belonging takes time. May the years say your name when it's ready. The year learns our name slowly tonight, soft and warm. It doesn't need to perform. If time can know us at all, the year learns our name slowly. No roll call, no sign, just names and time. The year learns our name slowly. Let the year learn our names before it asks anything else. No hurry, no confession, just the sound of us being here. I've met years that spoke first, that demanded better versions of me. But this one listens. I've learned that time is kinder when it isn't rushed. Let the year learn our names tonight, soft and slow. It doesn't need to know us all. If staying human is enough, let the year learn our names. May the days say your name without raising their voice. May the nights say it too and mean nothing bad. I've mistaken recognition for love. I've mistaken noise for care, but knowing grows. Let the year learn our names tonight, warm and plain, no need to explain. If being known takes time, let the year learn our names. Let the calendar turn its pages like it trusts you'll follow. Let the months take notes without judging the handwriting. I've feared being seen too clearly, afraid it would change me. But this year feels gentle. Let the year learn our names tonight. It's soft and low, it doesn't push us where to go. If walking together is living, let the year learn our names. I don't need the year to remember everything. I don't need it to forget. I need it to notice. I've spent too many seasons introducing myself to expectations that never listen back. So let this year take its time, learning who we are. I've learned that being known is quieter than being praised. May the year speak your name when you're tired. May it say it kindly. Let the year learn our names tonight. Soft and warm, it doesn't need to perform. If time can grow familiar, let the year learn our names. No crowd, no sign, just the year learning time. Let the year learn our names. Midnight learns our names without asking. It hears them in the way we breathe. The room stays still like it understands that something fragile is passing through. I've welcomed years with too much noise, calling excitement, calling fear. But tonight listens, I've learned that beginnings don't shout. Midnight learns our names tonight, soft and slow. It doesn't need to let us know if being seen is living. Midnight learns our name. May this year speak quietly, lead and wait, and wait. I've mistaken promises for direction. I've mistaken motion for truth, but stillness knows. Midnight learns our names tonight, warm and plain, no need to explain. If staying gentle is fine, midnight learns our name. The clock exhales once and lets us stay. I feared the moment after the cheer, afraid the quiet would feel empty, but this feels held. Midnight learns our names tonight, soft and low. It doesn't push us where to go. If being present is living, midnight learns our names. I don't need the year to define me. I don't need it to prove. I need it to notice. I've spent too many nights trying to impress tomorrow, calling it ambition, calling it hope. So let this midnight remember us as we are. I've learned that time recognizes calm. May the year say your name gently and mean it. Midnight learns our names tonight, soft and warm. It doesn't need to transform. If being known is enough, midnight learns our names. No rush, no claim, just time and names. Midnight learns our names. is our name. Morning doesn't ask what we learned, it just opens the curtains. Light finds the room unimpressed by how long we stayed up. I've prepared answers for mornings like they were judges waiting. But this one passes. I've learned that days don't examine us. Morning doesn't ask what we learned tonight. Soft and slow, it doesn't need to let us know if waking simply is living. Morning doesn't ask what we learned. May your mornings not question you. May they accept you. I've mistaken reflection for growth. I've mistaken lessons for worth. But being counts. Morning doesn't ask what we learned tonight. Warm and plain, no need to explain if nothing changed at all. Morning doesn't ask what we learned. Let the years stretch quietly into the day. I've feared untested mornings too long, afraid they meant I failed. But this feels kind. Morning doesn't ask what we learned tonight. Soft and low, it doesn't push us where to go if continuing calmly is living. Morning doesn't ask what we learned. I don't need the day to reward me. I don't need it to confirm. I need it to begin. I've stayed awake, trying to earn rest, calling it effort, calling it care. So let this morning arrive empty and stay. I've learned that peace wakes up quietly. May the year treat you like this often. Morning doesn't ask what we learned tonight. Soft and warm, it doesn't need to transform if opening eyes is enough. Morning doesn't ask what we learned. No test, no sign, just light finding time. Morning doesn't ask what we learned. Morning finds a year half asleep, still wearing last night. The streetlights haven't left yet, they linger like thoughts. I've greeted years too loudly, asking them who I'd be, but this one yawned. I've learned that time wakes slowly. Morning finds the year half asleep tonight, soft and pale, it doesn't rush the tale. If easing into living is living, morning finds the year. The coffee steams without advice, the air still listens. I've mistaken urgency for purpose, I've mistaken speed for strength, but gentleness holds. Morning finds the year half asleep tonight, warm and plain, no need to explain if starting slowly is fine. Morning finds the year. The clock blurs its numbers and waits. I've feared quiet mornings as if they meant nothing would happen, but this feels open. Morning finds the year half asleep tonight, soft and low. It doesn't tell us where to go, if waking gradually is living. Morning finds the year. I don't need the year to stand at attention, I don't need it to announce, I need it to stretch. I've shaken myself awake for futures that never arrived, calling it discipline, calling it hope. So let this year blink slowly with me. I've learned that rest belongs. May your morning stay forgiving and kind. Morning finds the year half asleep tonight, soft and warm. It doesn't need to transform if waking gently still lasts. Morning finds the year. No alarm, no race, just light and space. Morning finds the year. Nothing begins all at once, nothing really ends tonight. The clock keeps moving out of habit, like it always did before we cared. I've waited for moments to feel official, like they tell me who I was now. But this one just stays. I've learned that life doesn't cue itself. Nothing begins, nothing ends tonight. Soft and slow, it doesn't need to let us know if continuing quietly is living. Nothing begins, nothing ends. The glasses still hold warmth. The room still remembers us. I've mistaken signals for meaning. I've mistaken markers for truth. But presence holds. Nothing begins, nothing ends tonight. Warm and plain, no need to explain. If staying human is enough, nothing begins, nothing ends. Let the year blend in like another song on the radio. I've feared unmarked time too long, afraid it meant I was lost, but this feels right. Nothing begins, nothing ends tonight. Soft and low, it doesn't push us where to go. If breathing evenly is living, nothing begins, nothing ends. I don't need a start to forgive myself. I don't need an end to let go. I need this moment to be enough. I've chased chapters and titles, calling them progress, calling them hope. So let this night remain unnamed and stay. Let the year be part of the room, not the headline. I've learned that time doesn't ask permission. May your days lose their borders and keep their weight. I've mistaken motion for growth. I've mistaken change for healing. But staying teaches. Nothing begins, nothing ends tonight. Soft and warm, it doesn't need to transform. If being here still lasts, nothing begins. No start, no close, just notes hanging low. The year is here, the night is gone, the song keeps breathing. Nothing begins, nothing ends, and that's alright. That's alright. That's alright. Nothing rushes into this year. It opens its eyes the way we do. No trumpet call, no crowded street, just the room, learning how to breathe again. I've known years that ran ahead, dragging hope by the sleeve. But this one waits for us. I've learned that time moves kinder when it isn't chased. Nothing rushes into this year tonight. Soft and slow, it doesn't need to overflow. If arriving gently is enough, nothing rushes into this year. May your days find their shape without pressure. May your nights close softly like a book you trust. I've mistaken urgency for truth. I've mistaken speed for care. But patience stays. Nothing rushes into this year tonight. Warm and plain, no need to explain. If time can take its time, nothing rushes into this year. Let the months unfold themselves without rehearsal. Let the morning meet you where you are. I've feared slow beginnings too long, afraid they meant I'd fall behind. But this year walks with me. Nothing rushes into this year tonight. Soft and low, it doesn't push us where to go. If staying steady is living, nothing rushes into this year. I don't need the year to hurry, I don't need it to shine, I need it to hold. I've lived too many seasons, outrunning myself, calling it progress, calling it faith. So let this year move at the speed of breathing. I've learned that calm is not delay. May the year keep pace with your heart and not ask for more. Nothing rushes into this year tonight. Soft and warm, it doesn't need to perform. If time can arrive like a promise kept, nothing rushes into this year. No race, no sign, just the year taking time. Nothing rushes into this year. The new year doesn't wake us, it waits until we open our eyes. The light comes in like it's borrowing, not owning the room. I've met years that shook me hard, demanding courage, demanding change. But this one stays quiet. I've learned that beginnings days can be kind. The new year doesn't wake us tonight. Soft and slow, it doesn't need to let us know if waking gently is living. The new year doesn't wake us. May your mornings arrive without pressure or promise. I've mistaken alarm for urgency. I've mistaken noise for truth. But calm knows the new year doesn't wake us tonight. Warm and plain, no need to explain. If opening slowly is fine, the new year doesn't wake us. The clock stays polite. For once I've feared the first day too often, as if it would judge what I became. But this feels forgiving. The new year doesn't wake us tonight. Soft and low, it doesn't rush us where to go. If staying half asleep is living, the new year doesn't wake us long. I don't need the year to start me. I don't need it to push. I need it to wait. I've jumped into futures too quickly, calling it courage, calling it faith. So let this year sit with me quietly. I've learned that rest begins. May the year learn your rhythm and keep it. The new year doesn't wake us tonight. Soft and warm, it doesn't need to perform. If beginning gently still lasts, the new year doesn't wake us. No bell, no sign, just light and time. The new year doesn't wake us. The year learns our name slowly, like it's afraid to mispronounce. It watches how we sit, how we breathe, when no one's looking. I've introduced myself to time too many times, too clearly. But this year, wait, I've learned that knowing takes patience. The year learns our name slowly tonight. Soft and low, it doesn't need to let us know recognized is living, the year learns. The room keeps our outlines without fixing them. I've mistaken labels for safety, I've mistaken clarity for care, but familiarity holds. The year learns our name slowly tonight. Warm and plain, no need to explain. If being known over time is fine, the year learns. The clock stops correcting us and listen. I feared being unnamed as if it meant I didn't belong, but this feels personal. The year learns our name slowly tonight. Soft and low, it doesn't tell us where to go. If recognition arrives late as living, the year learns. I don't need the year to define me, I don't need it to decide, I need it to notice. I've rushed introductions to futures that forgot me, calling it ambition, calling it hope. So let this year say my name when it's ready. I've learned that being known takes time. May the year say you gently, eventually. The year learns our name slowly tonight. Soft and warm, it doesn't need to perform. If being remembered quietly still lasts, the year learns. No rush, no claim, just time and name.